Hi, my name is Paul Morris,
And I'm Chris Clark.
and this is Smokin' Mirrors.
Fuck.
You're messing up already. Alright, this week we are reviewing the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. It's the last movie that Heath Ledger was in.
Okay, let's just go. What were your first impressions of the movie?
Alright, like walking in, like I didn't really know what to expect. I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be a Heath Ledger movie, and like after seeing The Dark Knight and stuff, like I thought it was gonna be like a pretty serious movie or whatever, unless like he was gonna completely break for that. But then like as I'm watching it, like it just throws you into a state of confusion the entire movie, because I mean like they don't really let you know what's going on totally until 45. I mean like
It's quite a ways in where you first get starting to get it, like you start to get a sense of the plot. For me, like my first impressions of the movie, like I don't know, like
that's us.
yeah, no, like that was honestly that. Like first thing you notice when the movie starts, right? Like it has some kind of poster with Dr. Parnassus' name, and like it's spaced so weird. Like it's like part and then like ass us, and like I laughed like a kid.
See now,
Funny.
I saw this movie like at least when I didn't see it in theaters definitely, but I did see it like almost immediately when it came out on DVD. And so, like, I saw it, obviously, in 2010, so it's been a while. And then, like, I rewatched it today, actually. Just finished watching it, like, an hour and a half ago. How would you summarize, like, the main plot of the movie?
Well, you see, like,
So it's a weird fucking movie.
the plot is basically, like, you got your, like, stereotypical story of, like, the deal with the devil and the repercussions of that deal. And that's basically, like, the soul of the movie. But my problem, as far as the plot went, is that I felt like the whole movie, and, like, with the whole, like, the use of, like, the device of, like, the Imaginarium or whatever,
Yeah.
I feel like that was used...
Well, we really need to explain, like, what is going on in this movie before we start. So, okay, here you go. You've got, like, this traveling circus, and, like, their little gig is that you step into like this mirror and you enter the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Dr. Parnassus is like this like monk who's been living for eternity, like he's as old as time, and like it sounds really stupid, like they're just doing it as like a stage like joke when it starts out, but you eventually learn that he has actually been around as long as time, and he's like not ageless because the entire movie is old as balls, but anyway, and so like you go into this Imaginarium, and like it's kind of Inception-y because like he's sharing this. Hold on. He's sharing like your dream, like. Well, I mean, like he's so like you go in there and it's just like whatever your imagination comes up with, and he's like building this environment for you to like explore freely. But there's also like the devil is within all of these like these dream sequences, and so you have to make a choice. And like Dr. Parnassus' choice is always really hard. But like then you start to find out that Dr. Parnassus made a deal with the devil.
Tom Waits.
Who's played by Tom Waits, and we have to talk about how perfect he is
Like
in that
it's
role.
pretty much like the only redeeming quality for me for that movie. Like I'm gonna be honest, I struggled through it. I struggled through it hard. Like
watching it twice, you struggled through it. You didn't like it the second time you watched it.
Like the first time I watched it, like I said, I watched it 3 times, and the first time I didn't even watch it because like I got into the intro and
you start giggling at ass us.
No, right? But like there was nothing to hold my interest in. That's what I mean. Like the movie itself,
it's so fast paced, and it leaves you just like drowning the entire until you get to like towards the climax area. Once you start figuring out like what the main problem is going to be, like that's the point. Is like you're in the state of confusion. And that's why, like, Heath Ledger being thrown in, like, he is the audience's avatar. He is, like, trying to figure this out, although he's, like, witty and sly and beautiful. So, I mean, like, he still has a one-up on the audience.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the whole movie, they have the Imaginarium, and, they go to these outlandish settings whenever they enter it, and I feel like they're using it as a device to show off, like,
CGI.
I don't know, like, not necessarily, because, like, the special effects for me were really fucking bad.
They weren't great. Like, I'll be completely honest with you in that.
Like, it took me out of the movie.
Like, I could see that mainly just because, like, you could tell these actors are playing in front of a green screen, and that's, like, a huge bummer when you're watching it. But, like, when you actually see what they are creating, like, how do you dream those things up?
But like once again, like when you go into a movie, you're going for a story. You're going to see like characters you care about, things like you're going to see interesting things. And I just felt like the whole movie they're just like setting this up as just like, oh look at the wondrous nature of like imagination and stuff like that. And it's just like they didn't really use it to tell a story that's interesting, a story that's like had characters that I care about.
Did you not feel bad for Valentina in the movie?
No, fucking didn't care. I didn't care about anyone because it was a stupid movie in my opinion.
You're heartless. No, I think it's a really well done movie and it has some really deep themes going on. Okay, I really liked like the entire backstory of like how Parnassus met the devil. Like that little small story was like the best part of the movie in my opinion.
Like I'm just saying, like I said, like I didn't like the movie at all, but like the one saving grace it had, fucking Tom Waits, man. Like he's every time he was on screen, and every time like his character,
got that gravelly voice. He's
terrifying. I know, like he played his part so well.
Like he's terrifying in the sense that you would follow him if he told you what to do. Like you'd be so scared that you'd be like, all right, he's obviously knows what's going on.
And like he was just like outlandish enough but like
kind of kooky.
Still dark, and so like it made it feel more grounded than like some of the other outlandish stuff in the movie. I don't know. I really like Tom Waits' character.
You really like Tom Waits.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Chewing on this for a bit. Anyway, so like that scene where they're like, and technically it's like a Buddhist temple or whatever, and so Dr. Parnassus makes a deal with the devil, or no, they had this discussion because like Dr. Parnassus is a monk, and like his sole job is, which I really fucking love this, his sole job is that these monks are trained to tell the story that like keeps civilization and keeps society going or keeps existence in existence. And so Tom Waits does this thing where he has like, it looks like he's like a documentarian or a reporter at the beginning because he's like holding this like microphone looking object up to Dr. Parnassus and whatnot. And then but he ends up like sucking the mouths of all these monks, so they stop telling this story that needs to be heard. So I'm not sure if it's one story that needs to be told, or if it's just like the act of storytelling that needs to be told.
It was the act of storytelling because like after that happens, Parnassus is still like, oh, the world still exists because other people are telling stories elsewhere.
See, I really like that, especially because like it was like in like this guise of like this is a story that's being told for the reader, and so like that's really cool how they thought about that and put that like the importance of storytelling and how that never will be stopped because that's part of human existence is telling stories, like telling things that happen to you so you can teach others and like I don't know, gain the knowledge of everyone around.
Like I use my silly voice for what I just said, but actually that's one of my favorite scenes. The thing I really liked and really took away from that scene is just, I love the skepticism of Tom Waits. It's just like I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna see, look, you're still here. Like,
but then like I love the hope of Dr. Parnassus. Just like they're like, it's almost like a blind faith, and that's technically what all faith is. But just a blind faith that like the only reason that existence is still continuing is because there's a story going on somewhere. This is when Parnassus is telling the story to Valentina, who is his daughter, who weird looking chick.
Chick.
I'm surprised you don't find her attractive.
Like,
I'm serious.
Fuck yeah. Like, the thing about her character that really got me is fucking the age thing. It's just like you're obviously not.
Supposed to be 16.
She's supposed to be 15.
Turning 16, whatever. It's close enough.
Not even close. Like,
but like her eyes are really far apart, and she has like big old like jaws. Or like the deal is that they have to get 5 souls by Valentina's birthday or whatever, or the end of her birthday. And so like Valentina is supposed to be the very last one that like they're like waging war over.
The scene I was talking about is there's a woman in a mall, like there's a bunch of women in the mall and they're like all like gathered around the Imaginarium and they're like going in it and whatever. And there's this one old woman who's like really materialistic, I think is what you're supposed to take away because like her fantasies involve like shoes and whatnot. But at the very end of that scene, there's this really, really interesting scene, and like for all of the
By the way, this entire time, like when Heath Ledger steps into the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, because he died before they did all like the CGI bits, like every time he goes into the Imaginarium, he becomes a different person. Well, I mean, like literally, like his face changes shape, as in like his character's name is Tony, and the first time he goes in, which Chris is talking about, he becomes Johnny Depp.
Which is awesome.
Which is really funny, just because like you get to see like his first reaction of just like, hey, like I'm changing form, and it's Johnny Depp being, like Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing, just like, what's going on?
Yeah, no.
It's really funny.
That, for me, that really, really worked what they did, but I'll talk about that next. But anyway, I want to get into that scene where the old woman goes in, and, like, she has to make her moral choice, and it's basically, like, between, like, going to, like, Tom Waits' hotel, you know, for obviously, like, you know, the sex and, like, the pleasures of humanity.
Yeah, because it's like a scummy motel.
Yeah,
so, like, the hint is, like, she's, like, trying to drag Johnny Depp in there, because, like, he's been, like, wooing her or whatever, and now she wants to do the diggity.
And so anyway, like, and then, like, after that, like, and he, like, ends up sending her down a river, and, like, he sends her to this, like, really black pyramid. I'm not sure, like, I read about it, like, after I saw it, because I didn't really see what he was doing in the movie, but, like, when I read the, like, synopsis or whatever, it talked about, like, he's sending him to, like, a big, huge black pyramid. Whatever. The scene itself is the only Imaginarium scene that I really liked, because, like, it was really, really, like, the special effects didn't, well, I guess they kind of took me out of the movie, like, they're kind of outlandish, like, Tom Waits is a huge-ass cobra for some reason.
Well, what it is like, instead of going to the motel or whatever, Johnny Depp, leads this woman to, like, the river, and there's, like, this gondola, and it's gonna take her out to, like, the real world or whatever. And then, like, on the opposite, like, the bad way to go is, like, the continuation of the river, and then the river rises up, and it becomes this snake that, like, becomes Tom Waits' face, like a cobra, basically.
But anyway, as far as, like, the scenery and, like, the visual aspect of it, like, a lot of the Imaginarium scenes, well, pretty much fucking all of them, like, they're all, like, really, really, really colorful in stark contrast to, like, the dark and griminess of the real-life scene. And, yeah, I think that's something they play around with. And, like, I can see, like I said, like, I said how I was taken out of it from the outlandishness of it and all of, like, the colors and, like, the obvious CGI. But I see what they were doing. I understand that, you know, it's the stark contrast. But anyway, the reason I really, really liked the one with the old woman, the one Imaginarium scene, it's just, like, visually, it was so fucking striking to me, because it was just, like, you had, like, a clear line in the sky. I'm not sure if you remember that. It was just, like, on the one side it was Tom Waits' hotel, and then, like, it was just, like, clearness, and it was just,
and it was, like, night and day, like,
yeah, and then there was a huge black pyramid in the back. It's just, like, visually popped for me. It's just, like, okay, like,
they did that numerous times, like, at the very end. Like, when Valentina's throwing her hissy fit, and then, like, it's Colin Farrell is Tony, so, like, he's the Heath Ledger character in this, because, like, this is, like, Tony's choice or whatever that he has to make, as well as Valentina's choice. And so, like, all, like, because, like, things start getting really dark, like, the Imaginarium basically starts falling apart, and, like, you just see, like, land crumbling, you know, like in Dark Knight Rises, where, like, the football field is falling in. It's kind of like that. And, but Dr. Parnassus, like, comes in, he's, like, starts talking to Colin Farrell, and he's, like, dragging this scenario behind him. Like, it looks like a cartoon, which I think is so interesting how they do that. Because, like, he's just dragging this, like, scenery behind him, and it's just, like, you all of a sudden start seeing, like, this, like, sandy area, and there's, like, a blue sky, but it's, like, contrasted with, like, the brownish or red sand.
You're right, like, I did like that contrast, however, the rest of that scene is just, like,
It started to go really downhill from there. I'll give you that. It has a terrible ending.
Well, not necessarily the ending, but before that, actually. Like, what's that girl's name? Valentina. Like, you know, she's doing this whole thing where she's running and everything's, like, breaking away like glass. And, like, to me, it was just a very, like...
What do you think of the dance with Tom Waits and Valentina?
I liked it. I mean, like I said, I liked Tom Waits.
But then, when they're in the boat, like, when Dr. Parnassus actually gets the girl... And, like, they're just, like, there's, like, these beautiful imagery. It's like an impressionist painting, because it's, like, from, like, the 18th century, because, like, there's all this, like, beautiful gardens around, and they're just, like, gliding down this little boat down, like, a beautiful river or whatever. And then, like, you look a little farther, and there's all this, like, destruction and stuff on the other side. There's, like, that clear line that you talked about. And then there's the devil straddling that. And he's, like, eating all this food and just, like, tossing things, just littering everywhere. And I thought that was really, really cool, because he's sitting on these steps or whatever. The riverbank.
For me, like, the interesting part of his character is that, you know, he's always in competition with Dr. Parnassus, and, like, he thrives on the competition, not the actual winning. Because, you know, like, he lets him win the first time for the 12 souls or whatever for, like, winning youth. And then, like, you know, I really liked that. It was more about the competition, and, like, you know, when, like, he actually wins, like...
He wanted to get Parnassus deeper in debt until, like, he lost his optimism.
See, well, that's a good point. I hadn't considered that. I don't know.
Boom, and that's how we win an argument. I thought the CGI was brilliant. Like, not because it was well done. Like, it's obviously, like, 2 years ago, so, like, we've seen better CGI since then. but it's like it's still like beautiful images, and just like the things that you're seeing are just incredible. Not in that old woman's like shoe fantasy, like that was.
Well, fucking what other is there? Okay, there's a fantasy with a little boy, and it's like fucking like a hot air balloon with ice cream cones. Like none of that. It was very unvisually appealing for me. Like there was nothing like all of the. It was so outlandish.
Okay,
It was just like I want to finish this point. It was like the nature of how they use the Imaginarium was just a device to be like, look at us, look at how crazy we're getting, like, and they ignored like writing well and writing good characters and writing a plotline that was interesting in favor of just like, look at how crazy this is. You know what the whole movie reminded me of?
What?
Do you remember the band The Used? Do you remember the song All That I've Got? It was their most famous. I don't know. It has a music video.
I don't like them because I hate Burt McCracken. Well, mainly because that dude is disgusting looking. He's horrifying to look at.
The whole fucking Used thing, that's for another video. Maybe, never, I don't know. Anyway, whole movie reminded me of the music video for All That I've Got. Watch it, watch the movie, you'll see the comparison. At least, I don't know. That's what it felt like. It was just like, and that's kind of my point, is like, they use their music, I feel like, you know, instead of like, it's kind of like this faux emotional stuff that is just like, we have emotions, look at us sing about them, look at us, and that's the whole movie, like, it's just like, look at us how crazy we are. It's just like, no, this isn't a good story. This isn't something interesting. I wanted to talk about how, like, they had different actors playing Heath Ledger's character in all the Imaginarium scenes. I really, really liked that. In fact, like,
that was the best way they could have handled it.
Well, like, I'm kind of convinced that they should have done that even if Heath Ledger hadn't, you know, passed away. Because, like, the way they did it with the actors they chose, for instance, okay, you have the scene with the old lady, as we've talked about before, and pretty
Johnny
much
Depp is like the kind of like kooky, but he's a very good tempter because he is sexy.
Well, that's the thing. Johnny Depp is sexy, and the whole point of that scene is lust versus everything else. And Johnny Depp is like a lustful actor, and like he's sexy and he's like dark, and it really, really worked. And for the second one, like basically all you need to know about this scene for the point I'm making is like
you find out that Tony was a bad character in previous.
Well, he's imagining himself as a successful person, and like that's what he sees when he goes in, and so that like they picked Jude Law, who like it's just like clean cut and like I don't know, not as like he's kind of like a perfect image of a man. Exactly,
he's really pretty.
Exactly,
and the point that like I wanted to make about that. I'm sorry, you were going on with this, and I totally.
Well, I was just gonna say like each actor they chose for the Imaginarium scenes, and that wasn't Heath Ledger, obviously, you know, like when they replaced him. Each actor really worked for the scene he was in. I really liked that aspect of the film.
Why do you think they chose Colin Farrell?
See, Colin Farrell is the one that like kind of like I don't know, it doesn't really buck my theory, but like.
You mean bunk?
No, buck. Buck as into like that's a fucking word, alright?
No, it totally is. I want to buck your mother.
Oh god.
From Work Valley. Such a funny show. I'm gonna base this totally off of Total Recall when I say this. Not that I've seen that movie, it looks pretty freaking awesome. I'm really excited to see it. I will see it eventually. Probably not in movies, but in theaters, I mean. But anyway, like you don't trust Colin Farrell very well.
There you go. See, that was what I was trying to say with so many fucking words. Like the way he looks and the way you feel about him are different.
Because like he's a handsome man, but like you feel like he's hiding something. Like he's kind of like the scumbag that like gets the girl that you want to date.
I just want to appreciate the eloquence of that statement. He looks different than what you think. Anyway,
and like his thing is like you're not supposed to trust him because like it's showing like how Tony's like two-faced or whatever, and that's another thing that they play on with like the different roles and how how I think they got away with it is like Andrew Garfield made the point of this like he's like this guy but he's also this guy, like he has many different sides, he's like two-faced or whatever, and so like I thought that was a very interesting point and like a way to segue into all these different actors playing one role.
I started off saying that I really didn't like this movie, and that's true. I wouldn't. I guess, like, if it was come down to, like, if I'd recommend whether or not to watch it. Well, if I'd recommend, like, if you got 2 hours and you can either do something else, you can watch this movie. I don't know, man. What do you think? Would you? You would recommend it? I don't know.
I would recommend it if you're really into just, like, off the wall. Like, if you really liked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and if you really liked I Heart Huckabees. I mean,
there was. I would recommend it, I think. Like I said, I didn't like the story that much. I thought the plotline was lacking. I thought the characters were lacking for the most part. But there were some spots and characters that really stood out and really made it, I guess, worth a viewing for me.
And then one more scene that I need to bring up before we get to the ending, and this is actually kind of in the ending, which I thought was just like a really like tongue-in-cheek, just sly move that they did just kind of to be assholes. It's at the very end, you see like Dr. Parnassus is like doing his little thing, he's like making puppet boxes or whatever. And
if you talk about what I think, you can talk about I'm going to hate you because I wanted to bring it up. Go ahead.
Is it with the nuns?
Yeah, it is.
No.
I just want to say, I fucking love that little scene. Like, that little, like, 5-second scene was awesome.
Hilarious. Okay, we're going to talk about what it is. Okay, first
go.
of all, so, like, imagine Dr. Parnassus is, like, doing his little thing where he gets on the, or is selling, like, you see him at the end, like, his last job or whatever, is selling these piano boxes, or puppet boxes, with Vern Troyer being, like, his manager, basically, and, like, telling people, oh, like, buy these boxes or whatever. And you look over, and Tom Waits is sitting there, and he gives an apple to these two nuns. That is so funny.
It is. That's
clever.
I fucking love that.
I mean, it's like there's the whole like Adam and Eve thing. He's like, and like, but there's, I thought that was like such a full image that was just like kind of shitty. Like, it's kind of a stab at religion, but at the same time, just being funny.
I liked it a lot. I thought, like, when I said I wanted to talk about the ending, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. Because, like, I really like that scene. I really like, that little last. It's like a gift for the viewers. It's a little last gift, and it's just
you
like
go through all the shit with like the Colin Farrell and Valentina's judgment and everything. I'm like, this is not a good. Like 20 minutes of the movie.
And I like the very, very ending too, because like after the nun scene, Tom Waits' character is just like is trying to talk to Dr. Parnassus. He's like, so he makes him an offer or something like that, and like Vern Troyer is just like, no, you stay on task. There's one part of the movie where like I think it was near the end, like it was just Dr. Parnassus' character, and then like my mind just like I don't know what happened, but I was just like, wait, is that Gandalf? I was like, what do you? No, it's not. No, but like for that brief second, I was just like, that's Sir Ian McKellen. Gandalf is into it. No, anyway,
this movie might end well.
Yeah, no, right? You have any other point?
I'm done.
Okay. Well, I just want to wrap up by saying that, like I said, there are parts of the movie, for me, in my opinion, that were very visually striking, and it's kind of it's quirky and it's weird, And if you're into that sort of thing, and if you're into
interesting filmmaking,
like
it's an interesting storyline. Even if like the plot doesn't necessarily go anywhere, it's interesting what they do because like there's a whole good and bad thing, and that's like the main thing. Is like you have to choose to be a good person.
See, like I think you and me, we watched it in different ways, and we took away different things. Like for me, like when I was watching, what I was noticing a lot was visual stuff and the cinematography of it, and you were more focused on the story. Maybe that's just because the story didn't necessarily interest me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was fucking over my head. Maybe, I don't know. But for me, like, when I talk about it, for my opinions, I would recommend watching it if you have nothing else to do. I wouldn't, like, take it over, like...
I wouldn't take it over a movie that you think is going to be
like,
good.
I'd watch Predator before.
Oh, yeah. It's a great movie.
Fuck yeah.
I watched Total Recall first, and I haven't seen Total Recall. It might be really shitty, but I would watch it before I would watch Dr. Parnassus.
Anyway. Interesting movie, visually striking. If you're into the weirdness, if you're into, I don't know, if you want to see
filmmaking.
Well, if you want to see Heath Ledger in his last role,
if you're a fan of any of his movies, go see it because like anytime he's on screen, he's great.
Exactly, and
fucking ruined his character.
Tom Waits, awesome,
incredible,
I love
great
Tom
devil.
Waits, awesome.
He is like the epitome of devil in my opinion now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching our first episode of Smoke and Mirrors, and we will be back next week.
Yeah.